So today is going to be what I consider a very interesting video. I'm going to tell y'all how I got from rock bottom, bottom of the barrel, in prison, homeless when I got out of prison, to where I am now, living the life that I am now, okay? Every single step, I'm gonna try to go through all of them and let you guys know. So if you're interested in hearing how I got from rock bottom to the beautiful life that I have now, just stick around. Good morning, my lovelies, my beauties, my friends. My name is Christina and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I really hope that you will subscribe, stick around, take a chance on hearing some things that I have to say. And if you are a returning subscriber, y'all already know, y'all are my babies. So good morning, good morning, good morning. Today's gonna be what I think is really gonna be an interesting video. I think you guys are gonna enjoy this. I know that I get a lot of comments and DMs and just all kinds of stuff of people saying like, you've got this great life and I'm so inspired by you and how do I get to where you're at? Well, I'm about to tell you guys right now, okay? This has taken a long time to get where I'm at, and I want to show you guys every single step that we took. And it was basically one tiny step in front of the other. And I'm gonna tell y'all about it, so just hang on with it. Before I get into it, I do want to let y'all know that the contest entries are closed. I will be putting together the video for that this week, so make sure y'all stay tuned, watch the video, and vote. In the description box of that video is going to also be the winners for the merch and the t-shirts, so make sure you're looking for your name. Okay, if you are new here, I'm gonna leave more relevant videos linked in the description box that's gonna tell you like why I went to prison, what happened when I got out of prison, and how I met my husband. If you have not seen those videos yet, I really suggest that you watch those videos. It's gonna fill in a lot of the gaps. But for everybody else that knows those stories already, we're just gonna get right on into it. Okay, so as y'all know, I went to prison whenever I was 21. I was sentenced to 3 years, okay? When I got out of prison, I went and lived in a women's home, shelter, whatever you want to call it. I left prison, I had nothing but literally the clothes on my back and the few little bucks that the prison system gives you if you don't have any money, okay? They give you money so you can get a bus ticket and some food to get home. But that's it, it's not like they're giving you $500 to start your life with or $1,000. So that's all I had. I went to the women's home, and when I got to the women's home, you guys know I was looking for a job, couldn't find a job. One of the other women that was in the program with me offered to take me to Wendy's and help me get a job there. So I got a job at Wendy's. Mind you, when I got the job at Wendy's, I had no car, okay? I was 25 years old. I had never even had a driver's license, a real driver's license. I had a permit whenever I was younger, but never even had a real driver's license, okay? And I also had charges against me that meant that I couldn't get my driver's license unless I jumped through a million hoops. So it seemed almost impossible. So I was riding the bus to work. And what I would do is I would get on the bus, I'd ride the bus for 45 minutes to an hour. The bus stop would let me off. The closest stop to that Wendy's was a mile away. So I would walk in the South Florida heat, fully dressed, ready for work. You had to wear a hat or a visor and shirts and pants and shoes and all that, a mile after riding the bus for an hour, all the way to Wendy's, just so I could stand over hot grease, cook French fries, and cook chicken nuggets. But you know what? I did not complain, and I worked my butt off, and I did it. And just letting you know, it was hard work. I was sweating all the time, and I was working my butt off for basically pennies. I was not making very much at all. Hardly nothing, okay? Then eventually, I ended up getting another job. I got a job working at Publix corporate. When I got the job working at Publix corporate, I was doing like janitorial work or whatever. Basically, I would go in and change trash bags in front of tons of people. I mean, I'd go into their offices while they were there. There's 50 people in a room with all their little cubicles, and here I am walking through as the janitor asking to change their trash bags and cleaning the break rooms and making sure everything's wiped down. I didn't have this like the pristine job or like a fancy job. Like I was the janitor there, okay? But I did it and I did not complain. So I started doing that. And then eventually I got enrolled in school and I was going to school full time. I had to go to school 5 days a week. So this is what my days would look like, okay? I'd get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, I'd get ready, I'd go to work at Publix. I'd work all day long. I'd get off of work, I'd go straight to school. I'd go to school for 4 hours, whatever it was, I can't remember. And then I would go from school to my second job at Wendy's, because then Wendy's became my part-time job because I switched for Publix being my full-time job. And I'd go work a few hours at Wendy's, like 3 hours a night or whatever it is. And then I'd go home, I'd eat, I'd take a shower, and then I'd get ready to do it all over again. Okay, so those were my days. They were completely full. My weekends consisted of volunteering with the children at the church on Sundays and doing homework. It was a lot, okay? But I was doing it. I was focused. So 2 years of that, me and Jeremy start talking on MySpace. Y'all know the story. So we start talking and eventually we start traveling back and forth to see each other. Okay, so once a month on a weekend, he would come to where I was for the weekend, and then the next month I would go to where he was for the weekend. And we would save up our money so we could see each other. And all while I'm trying to save up, you know, more money at this point to continue to live my life. And I moved into a roommate situation. Okay, I actually moved into the roommate situation before me and Jeremy started talking. I moved out of the home and I moved into a roommate situation. I should have said that first, but here we are. So now this time I'm living in a roommate situation. Me and Jeremy are going back and forth to see each other. I still have the same schedule. Me and him would be on the phone until like 3 or 4 a.m., right? And we both had to get up and go to work the next day. And I would go to work tired, but we would just talk all night. And like eventually, as y'all know, he told me that I needed to commit. After about a year of us being together, I needed to commit and move to where he was and be a family and be in a relationship, or he couldn't be with me anymore. And I was scared to lose him. I loved him and I was so scared. I remember being at Publix talking to some of the women there being like, I don't think I can do it. Like I had my life to me was so good there. You know, I was focused. I had all my stuff together. I was working hard. I seen the vision. I was working towards the vision and it was happening. And I remember this one lady at Publix told me, what do you have to lose? And I'm like, well, I have everything to lose. She was like, take a risk, Christina. Just take a risk. She was the one person that told me that. Everybody else told me I was crazy. And the one person that told me that, that's how you know you're in, you know how we are. Like we cling on to what we want to hear. So I took the risk and I said that I would move. So his mom came to my house, his mom and dad, and Jeremy came down and they packed up all my stuff. We all did on trailers and my furniture and everything that I had. And I moved up to where he was. Okay. Now, when I moved up to where he was living in a roommate situation, okay, with 5 roommates in a 3-bedroom house, okay? You've got 3 bedrooms, you've got 1 person in one room, you've got a couple in another room, and a couple in another room, okay? There's a lot of people up in that house. Everybody's splitting rent and utilities and all that. We were all struggling. Everybody was struggling, okay? One of the couples had 2 kids, and then Jeremy had Jordan at this time. So you've got all these people living in this house. Eventually one of the guys did move out and Jordan got that room, okay? So now this is Jordan living with us full time. And I didn't have a job yet, but I did have a bunch of money saved up because I told you guys I was saving all of my money. I had transferred all of my school stuff to in-class school to online classes, which was a nightmare. If anybody's ever done online classes, you know it's like 3 times as much work to do online classes than it is to actually go in the classroom, because it's all like typing and essays and like online meetings and stuff. Like, oh, that was a nightmare. Okay, so I was doing that. I ended up getting the job at Logan's, as you know, and me and Jeremy decided to put Jordan in private school. And the reason why we put him in private school is because we knew we weren't going to live in that roommate situation forever. We knew eventually we were going to get our own house. And Jordan had already moved from Alabama to Florida. Complete culture shock to him to go from living in the situation that he was living in to now living with me and his dad in a roommate situation. And you know, now all of a sudden he had all these new things, like he had rules now, and he had to like clean up after himself and like structure and all of these things. So we didn't want to put him in a school and then we move and then he has to bump schools again. So we took our extra money and we put him in private school. We made the sacrifice from all the extra things that we wanted to do so we could do the best thing for Jordan. Now at this time, me and Jeremy didn't even have money to go out to eat. I literally remember me and him getting in an argument because all I asked of Jeremy was take me out to lunch once a week. Let that be our one thing. And we didn't have the money for that. We were afraid that if we had a flat tire, we wouldn't be able to get to work. Okay, we were struggling, right? Struggling. Still just trying to do the best thing for Jordan, okay? So I started working more and more at Logan's. By this time, I'm getting regulars and I start making much, much better money. Thank you, Jesus. And we saved up money, and it still wasn't $1 million. It was just, you know, better than before, okay? We saved up money and then we ended up getting another house that we could afford. Now this house, this house was in the hood, okay? I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. It was only $595 a month. But our concern was to keep Jordan in private school so he wasn't bouncing from school to school to school. He had already been through so much. So our main concern was Jordan. So we decided, okay, we'll move in a neighborhood where we only pay $595 a month, but we can at least keep him in a good school because, you know, we want him to have a good education. We don't want him to be traumatized from moving, having to constantly make new friends or whatever. So that's what we did, okay? And I mean, this is the kind of place our house got broken into twice in broad daylight, okay? So we're gonna, whatever. So we lived there for a while and we saved and saved and saved again, okay? Now this time I'm still working, you know, whatever, and then I pick up a second job. And this is right about the time that I had to put school on the back burner because I couldn't do it all. So for everybody that's been asking me if I finished my degree, I did not. I put it on the back burner, and it wasn't just how much I was working. I also had a child now that I had to take care of full time, okay? Me and Jeremy barely would see each other. He would get up in the mornings and go to work, and I was working night shift, so I could get up and put Jordan on the school bus or take him to school. At some points he was riding the bus. At other points I was a car driver person or car picker-upper or whatever. And I was doing everything. The school, taking him to the dentist, homework with him, PTM meetings, everything. I literally went from being this single woman living in this other environment to now having a full-time child, okay? But Jordan was good. He was happy, he was loved, you know, and he was going to school. Then around this time, I ended up getting pregnant. As we know, me and Jeremy were actually having some problems then at that point in our relationship, but I got pregnant, me and Jeremy worked it out, and boom, Jaden is here. So we were really just grinding it out, trying to make ends meet. We weren't doing very good, but the most important thing to us was our children were taken care of. They were loved, you know, whether we had brand new cars or not, which we didn't. We both had used cars. Jeremy's car was breaking down every other time you turn around, overheating. We'd be up driving down the road and there's smoke billowing from the hood of the car, and he's having to put water in it, and every time you take it somewhere to get fixed and we're putting money into it, something else falls apart. I know y'all know. I know y'all have all been in those kind of situations before. I know y'all feel me here. So then we're saving. We're saving. We're barely doing anything extra or fun. I mean, like any little bit of money that we got, it went into the kids, okay? We would take our income tax and we would, when we got our income tax in the beginning of the year, we would save it to take our kids on a family vacation during the summertime. And that was our routine. We would go on a family vacation during the summertime. We would pay whatever bills needed to be paid, and whatever extra we had, we would save, okay? We didn't take our income tax and go and get blinged out and like get gold grills and buy a bunch of jewelry and floss. No, we saved it, and that was our thing. We took a family vacation every single summer. We took our kids somewhere, okay? So by this time, we had saved up enough money to move out of the neighborhood that we were in and moved into a much nicer house. Still a 3-bedroom house. It was in a better area of town, and we knew Jordan was getting ready to go to middle school, and we wanted to take him out of private school so he could go to a public school. The private school that he went to is the same one Jaden goes to now. They don't do field trips, they don't do dances, they don't do anything like that, which is fine, you know, but we wanted him to experience all of that. So we ended up getting a house in a really good school district, A++ school district. Like, everything that we did was focused on our children at this point. It was all about them, and it's still all about them, really. So we moved here. At this point, I save up money and I buy spray tanning equipment, and I decide to start my own business while I'm working 2 jobs, okay? A mobile spray tanning business where I would go to people's houses and I would spray tan them. I'd bring the pop-up tent and I would spray them right in their houses, because I knew there's a lot of moms that want to be tan or want to spray tan, or people that are on vacation that can't tan and they want to go back home and be tan and stuff like that. But they don't want to go into a place. And I also wanted to make it affordable for them. So I was charging $25 to come in and spray you. And so now you guys got to understand, I'm working 2 jobs, okay? And I'm running my own little business on the side, which was really hard, because a lot of the times when people wanted me to come spray them would be like 7 or 8 o'clock in the evening. It would be right after I'd finished dinner, It'd be right after I finished cooking dinner and fed everybody, and it was time for me to sit down and relax and enjoy time with my family. I had to get up and go and spray tan somebody, but I still did it, okay? I grinded it out, okay? 2 jobs, taking care of 2 kids, and a 3rd job, which was my own business. When I tell you guys it hasn't been easy, I'm telling you guys it hasn't been easy, okay? Right around this time, Jeremy put in for a new job, and he got a new job. Finally. After all of this time of us struggling, after him, you know, going through all of these different things, he got a new job where he was making a little bit more money, okay? Then we ended up paying somebody to fix our credit. Both of us had horrible credit, so we were paying like $75 a month because we wanted to buy a house, okay? Paying $75 a month to this lady for 6 months, $75 a person, to fix our credit, and she fixed it. Then we started saving money again. We saved our income tax, we saved this, we saved everything, and we ended up getting approved to buy our first home, which is where we are now. Right around this time, would you know it, my car starts having problems that I had, my used car that I had. Isn't that the way it works when you take all of your money to go and buy a house and your car starts breaking down? And the craziest thing about that is we had already been approved for the house, signed the paperwork and everything, and we were just waiting for the final deals. And as anybody that's bought a house, they tell you, whatever you do, do not go and try to buy a car. Don't try to buy a car. Guess what? My car went out literally in that waiting process. So we had to call the people, had to have them approve for me to get a flip-flopping car. And then I got my car, which was my Toyota Camry. I absolutely loved it. It was absolutely an amazing car. It was a used car. I've never had a brand new car. I'm almost 35 years old. I've never had a brand new car, and that is completely fine. I'm grateful for everything that I've got. So I got the car and we ended up getting our home and moving into our home. We were not approved for any first-time home buyers loans. We weren't approved for any of that. We had to grind everything out on our own, every single penny. As a matter of fact, in order to move into the home, you have to have like a refrigerator and a stove and a dishwasher and all that stuff, because when you buy a new home, well, when we bought our home, it didn't have all that in there, and we had spent all of our money for closing fees and everything, and then now I had to put this down payment down on a car. We didn't even have money for a refrigerator, guys. That's where we were. We did not even have money for a refrigerator in our home. Praise God, my grandmother had a Lowe's credit card, and she let us put it on her Lowe's credit card, and I went and paid it off every month, and we paid it off. But that's where we were. Like, that was where we were. Eventually, Jeremy is a very hard worker. If you guys think I'm a hard worker, you have no idea. This man pours his heart and soul into everything that he does too. He's the type of man that when he works for a company, you would think he owned it, because he is making sure everything. He's the kind of guy that does 10 people's jobs at one time, okay? Like he's just, and he gets stressed out and he gets overwhelmed, but he don't know how to do anything other than that. He doesn't know how to do anything other than work his butt off. So now we're living in our new home. I'm still working my jobs at this point, and the whole situation with Logan's happened, okay? And I ended up, you know, quitting Logan's, and I looked for another job. Well, I found a job working at a heating and air conditioning company the very next day from Logan's, which was pretty awesome. The crazy thing about that situation was they promised me a certain pay in the interview. They promised me all this stuff. And then whenever I started working there, they didn't give me that. She told me, okay, I'll give it to you in 6 months. I got to 6 months. She said, oh, okay, we're going to reevaluate you in a year. And it wasn't even the pay that bothered me about working there. It was the fact that and I'll do a whole story time about my jobs that I've had. I know if y'all have requested it. They really belittled me there. That they treated me horribly. And you want to know what the main beef that the lady that worked at that company had with me? She said, you're an overachiever, Christina. Like, just do your job. No more, no less. Because like, I'm the same way as Jeremy. Like, if I'm in an office environment and there's coffee all over the counter, I'm gonna wipe it up, right? Like, if toilet paper needs to be in the bathroom, I'll go find the toilet paper and to put the toilet paper in there, okay? Like, if I'm done doing all of my work, I'm gonna ask you, hey, I'm finished with my work. Do you have anything that I can help you with? That was a problem for her, but also she was the owner's daughter. So I think she was afraid that maybe I was doing a better job than her. And I didn't mean to do that. I just was trying to be an asset and be, you know, helpful. And she hated that. And she was running the office, so she made sure to knock me down every time she could. Anyways, with that being said, another company swooped in and found me and offered me the world, okay? I'm gonna save that for a story time. Whenever I put in my notice, the girl that had been telling me all this stuff starts crying and offers me the pay right there on the spot that they offered me in my interview. It's like they were fine treating me like that and talking to me like that. And then whenever I got a new job opportunity, y'all, I'm gonna save that for a story time. Y'all gonna laugh when y'all hear all this. Ciao, bye. Okay, so I'm working this next job. I'm gonna tell y'all all about that. Save that for story time, okay? Well, push comes to shove, I had injured my back. I had fractured my spine in 2 places. In my thoracic spine, they are very small fractures, but I was in pain. And you guys know at this point, I fell into a very deep, dark depression. I remember being in my closet. Jeremy would be out in the living room watching TV, and I would pretend like I was coming to the bathroom, and I would just go in the closet and cry. And I would just try to find a reason to live. And a lot of y'all know that type of pain, and it makes me so sad now to think about the fact that I even considered some of the things that I considered, but I felt like my life was over and it would never be the same again. And I was on all kind of medications, which made me even more pain. And it was this crazy cycle that I had gotten into. And anyways, with all that being said, that was incredibly awful and hard. That whole time period was, I remember that I would literally go and push Jaden on the swing. If I pushed him on the swing, okay, I would be on the floor in the living room on my back in pain for 3 days and not be able to move, because the floor was the only thing that made me feel okay, because it was straight and flat. I slept on the floor so much, but then my muscles would ache. I really went through it. I had so many MRIs. I was dealing with neurologists. I was dealing with all kind of stuff, and they wanted to do surgery on my back. I will save all of that for another story time because I want to keep it moving here. But that was a really deep, dark time in my life. By this time, I'm not working anymore, okay? I'm at home. I'm being a stay-at-home mom, and me and Jeremy decided if we had to eat Roman noodles every single night, that's what we would do to just pay the bills. So, because Jeremy started traveling for work. So he was gone sometimes 5 weeks at a time. And that alone was starting to take a toll on the children. I was working 50 and 60 hours a week. He was traveling. And then, so by the time I get in from work, and I know a lot of y'all know exactly what this is like. I'm no special case. I'm just letting y'all know. By the time I got in from work, I'm exhausted, right? I've been working 10, 12 hours a day. I'm rushing to get the kids fed, rushing to get them baths and get them in the bed so I can eat and sit down. By the time I sit down, it's time for me to go to bed so I can go to work next day. I wasn't living, okay? So we decided, and I'll tell you about that other job, what happened and all that in another story time. I was gonna stay at home and we were gonna take a huge pay cut in our lives, and meant we weren't gonna be able to do a bunch of things, okay? I was home, that all happened, I was home probably a year and a half, I don't really exactly know. And I started watching YouTube videos. And I started watching YouTube videos. I'd never watched YouTube before like that, unless somebody shared something on Facebook. I didn't even have a YouTube account. Like, I didn't go into YouTube and, like, you know, do anything. Like, I didn't go into YouTube. It was just if somebody shared something, I would watch it through the, like, guest account. You know how it does. And I started watching YouTube, and I started watching all these people talking about their eating disorder. And, oh, I left out the whole eating disorder part. I'm going to do that in a whole nother story time. I would watch people talking about their eating disorders and all these different kind of things. And I wanted to do YouTube. Okay. Then I decided I had a story to tell too. And I started thinking, like, what if I could help somebody, right? What if there's somebody out there that has been through abuse, or maybe who's been through addiction, or maybe who's been in jail and prison and thinks that they'll never have a good life, or they'll never be loved or have a successful life. Well, at this point, you know, we did own our own home. We're still paying for it, you know, and I have this great family, and I'm, you know, not on drugs or anything like that. So maybe I could share my stories. And so, but I wanted to ease into it, right? I didn't want to just put all of my personal business out there right in the beginning and then just, like, because it's scary. It's very, 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 very scary to do it, because you don't know if maybe only 5 people are going to see that video, right? And maybe those 5 people happen to be the people that can't stand you and they want to see you fail. Or maybe it's that one person, you know, that, you know, whatever. And now you've just given all your deep, dark secrets away to all the 5 people that you don't want to know, right? So it was scary for me. So I tiptoed in with other videos, trying to get comfortable on the camera, trying to let people know me, and then I could show them what I had been through. And so then now here I am. I did YouTube for about a year and a half, I would think, without a lot of views or anything like that, but it didn't matter. I still grinded it out. I still did it. I still, you know, and if you guys want me to do a story telling you guys about my YouTube journey, I can do that. I don't want to spend too much time on that. And, you know, just a few months ago, I kind of blew up a little bit. I mean, it's not on a scale of like people with millions and millions. I don't want to toot my own horn or anything, but I grew and I gained all of y'all, and now here I am, okay? So with this very long video explaining to you guys my process to get where I'm at, I want you guys to know that this hasn't been easy. Everything that I have done has been hard. Nobody has handed me anything, done anything for me. I mean, other than my grandmother letting me, you know, put that stuff on her credit card and me paying it back. That was awesome. Thank you, Grandma, if you're seeing this. I really appreciate that. But you know what I mean? Like, me and my husband, we have the love and support of our family. But as far as, like, there's no silver spoons anywhere around me and him. We have grinded this out by ourselves. So if any of you guys out there are struggling and you feel like there's no light in the end of your tunnel, I'm here to tell you there is. You got to keep going, though. Keep working. If you would have told me 5 years ago that I'd be where I'm at right now, I would not have believed. If you would have told me 6 months ago that I would be where I'm at right now, and that I would have 200,000 people that love me and support me, I would be like, no way. I can't even get 5 family members, 5 blood family members to love me and support me. You mean to tell me 200,000 strangers? We ain't strangers no more, but you know what I mean. So please, you guys, when you look at my life, I want you to see me. Okay? Don't see this hair. Don't see this makeup, these earrings, this shiny little background while I'm sitting on my bathroom floor, but it looks kind of fancy from y'all's view. Don't see any of that. Okay? See me. See my struggles. See my whole process, and know that you can do it. If I can literally go from rock bottom not having anything but the clothes on my back, you can do it too. You can get there. Whatever that means for you, whatever that looks like, whatever job you're wanting to get, whatever college degree you're trying to finish, whatever, you know, problems that you have in your relationship that you want to overcome, or self-confidence, or your parenting style improving, or that promotion that you're hoping to get, or if you're struggling financially, I'm here to tell you it gets better. You just can't quit. You gotta keep going, one step in front of the other. Don't worry about taking leaps and bounds. Don't worry about that. Because when you take leaps and bounds, when you go backwards leaps and bounds. But if you go one step in front of the other, if you need to go back a couple steps, okay, keep going. Keep going. Don't rush yourself. Be patient with yourself. Look at the end goal. You know, I always say that I look 5 years ahead in the future. In 5 years, this is where I want to be. Not tomorrow. In 5 years. It helps keep you sane. Okay? So, I hope that you like this video. Let me know what you think, please, in the comment section down below. I can't wait to read what y'all have to say. Please don't forget to like it. It's a free way that you can help your girl out. And until next time, I love you guys so very much. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.